Just gave her a shower, so yeah, got her brush. You can see how excited she gets. This thing. Look at that. Look how she wags her tail and everything. Practically trying to dance around and everything. This thing. So goofy. There's something I wanted to point out, though, or really add, rather, that I should have mentioned within the last video I made. When I brought up the point to how there's some people that's literally justifying, or, well, I wouldn't say justifying, they're just going out and spending over $150 to get WWE 2K26 with the collector's edition and all that stuff, you know? Yeah, which, that's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous to pay that much for that, I'm just going to be honest on that. So, yeah. But the point I wanted to bring up was, like, dude, I am literally, right now I've got 3 games within my Amazon shopping cart, which I'll probably ordering on Tuesday, you know, when I go ahead and get me an Amazon card or whatever, because by that time I'll be paid and everything, so yeah. I can't do that the whole time. My arm does get tired after a while, spoiled, but anyway, though, yeah, the 3 games I have, you know, in total should be just a little less than $120 for 3 games. And 2 of them are collector's editions. You know, they come with an art book, an actual soundtrack, things like that, yeah. You know, one of them being Nico Derico, The Magical World, you know, which is basically a perfect clone of the Donkey Kong Country games that we played back on the Super Nintendo, not that crap that we have on the Wii U and the Switch. So, yeah. I mean, the graphics are just as on par as what they are on the Wii U and Switch when it comes to that Nico Derico game, or it's got a weird name, so it's kind of hard to pronounce. But yeah. But that game does more than just try to have elements of Donkey Kong Country games. They also try to throw in some elements of some Crash Bandicoot titles in there as well, so that's pretty cool. You know, another game that I'm also going to get with the special edition, comes with a physical soundtrack and a big collectible art book and everything, is a game called The Plucky Squire, which looks like a very unique title. And you have multiple play styles. You know, it transitions from being a 2D platformer to being a 3D platformer to even being an overhead brawler, you know, and has lots of puzzles and everything to solve and whatnot. So, yeah, 2 really good games right there. And then another game that I'll be able to get along with all of that, as long as it's still available, is Fire Emblem Warriors. Not the greatest game with that last one there, but still. Nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, 3 games right there for less than what it would cost to buy one. Of course, I've always tried to be more frugal when it comes to getting games and entertainment and whatnot. I always try to get the most I can for my dollar, you know. So, yeah. Like I said before, I mean, I was at Walmart the other day. It wasn't yesterday. I was trying to say yesterday. No, it wasn't yesterday. It was the other day after I got off work and everything. Went to Walmart and I seen that they had WWE 2K25 for the Nintendo Switch 2 right out there in the open. I didn't have to go get anybody to get back from behind the glass or nothing. I mean, they still had the game in the security case and everything. But I was still able to pick it up and read the info on it and things like that. And I was reading on the back of it to see how much storage it takes up. Because WWE 2K25 on the Switch 2 is just a digital code within a case. But a key card would still take up the exact same amount of storage as what a digital code would, or just getting the game digitally online. So yeah, just something worth noting. But I'm looking at the back of that copy of WWE 2K25, which is only $15 to get, but the game takes up around 95 gigabytes. You only get like 200 gigabytes to work with on the Nintendo Switch 2, which means you'd have to go out and buy a micro SD card just for that one game, unless that's the only game you have on the Switch 2. That's crazy. That's insane. So, yeah. So after I found that out, I'm like, okay, I don't care. I'm not getting no WWE game for the Switch 2. If I want to play a wrestling game bad enough on the go, I will literally get a copy of the AEW Fight Forever video game. So, yeah. And that's pretty much where I stand on that, and that's all I have to say about any of this stuff. So, yeah. Y'all take care. God bless and peace.